see how good I get, because I tried it and it was like, you really have to concentrate on these little tiny parts. We shall see, kind of thing. So I did get a bunch of Harry Potter Lego, so I think I will have to start working on those. Kind of cool. So I thank you for that, Carol, too.
And then you can put it behind Carol.
Yes. I have a double-decker purple bus, right? The night bus. Mm-hmm. So that looks like it'll be kind of tall. We'll see. But, hey. All right. Any other techno gifts anybody else got that anybody's willing to share?
All I got was a purple Afghan. It's not very high tech.
Oh, I think we all got, lots of interesting, just regular gifts, though. I got a coffee maker from my daughter, a new Keurig, hot red, single cup coffee maker. So I'm very happy with that.
That's what I have. Our microwave went bad.
Uh-oh.
And we ordered it.
Oh, that's right. You said, yeah.
It took like 3 months for it to come in because supply chain was disrupted. So it took us a long time to get a new microwave. But in the meantime, heating up my instant coffee in the microwave is my regular routine, and no microwave. So that Keurig that when you came over for the green apples a couple times, we had the single cup Keurig. And it was very problematic. I couldn't figure it out. And during the time the microwave was down, I used it to heat up the water, not to make coffee, but just pour water through it and heat it up one cup at a time. And
you could have got a tea kettle.
No, we got a tea kettle. This is better. And better is better. So I was heating up my water in the Keurig and making instant. And now I got the new microwave in.
So there goes the Keurig, right? Well, I like having a coffee pot versus plus having the Keurig, because a lot of times I like to have a pot of coffee versus 1 cup of coffee, and so I had to go between, but my old Keurig, which was a Mr. Coffee Keurig, was just not working as fast as it should be, and it wasn't heating the coffee up hot enough. So I'm happy to try this out and see how quick it is. It says it supposedly has a quick instant on switch on it. So we'll see how that works.
Our new microwave runs hotter than the old one. I used to put my water in for coffee and I give it 2 minutes, just hit the one button and it would cook for 2 minutes. Now 2 minutes is boiling. So I have to go 1 plus 30 to get my right time.
Probably more wattage.
More wattage.
1675 water.
But it clearly runs hotter.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have places anymore where you can go take your appliances in and get it fixed. Now it's all just buy a new one and dump the old one. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I tried using the beverage setter, the setting. And it was boiling. That one was boiling too. It runs too hot. So I won't use that.
Okay, well then you must have upgraded then when you got this.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, because I think there's like a 900 one and then it goes up to 1400 or something, 1100, 1400, whatever. But I know probably a lot of people just buy one and don't even look at it. And just say, oh, it's the right color, right size, and has what I want on it, and that's fine. So, well, you can just get everything quicker.
We got it from Hoffman's, which is down here in Brighton. And the guy arrived with it and he put it in 25 minutes, he was gone. It was quick.
You mean you couldn't just take it out of the box and plug it in?
No, this under the range, over the range, under the cabinet.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. It's one of those that were installed into the wall, right? Okay.
Yep, and they were very good at Hoffman's.
Well, it's good because I have a friend who doesn't live around here and her refrigerator died, her washer and dryer are dying. And she needs new appliances, but she won't go to a Lowe's. She wants to go to her local appliance store. So they're talking months before she'll get anything.
Recommend Hoffman's. We really like them.
Well, like I said, are they a chain?
No, it's a family-owned store.
Oh, that's what I'm saying is she doesn't live around here.
You know where Fox's is and was it Town Line Mall there?
Uh-huh.
Or Brighton Henrietta Mall, or it's Winton Plaza, right next to Fox's Deli.
Okay, well, she lives near Syracuse, so they don't have.
Oh, that's a longer trip.
Yeah, but she wanted to get like her local appliance store, but you know, at the same time, you need a refrigerator. You can't wait 3 months if you can go into Lowe's and have them deliver one in within 2 weeks.
Well, you can wait now kind of because it's winter. Just put things outside.
I guess you could. She's got a big back porch. You could just go put a cooler out there and throw things in it, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's not cold enough. It's not cold enough these last few days. You know, it's been above 30 degrees.
You have to own the house. Yeah. If I put stuff outside, it would disappear.
Oh, yeah.
Well, mine might be like some little animal might want to inquire and look into it once. I did leave a turkey out one year when Thanksgiving, when it was really cold out. It didn't have any freezer space or refrigerator space. So I thought, well, gee, it's really cold out. I'll just put it on the back porch on the table. And I had it all wrapped up and everything like that. And sure enough, I kept checking on it, and there was like a little bite holes on the.
Yeah, the squirrels were getting into it.
Yeah. And it was like somebody was like inquiring into what that was, but it was okay. So I only needed to sit out like for a day, anyways. But it was too big, and I just had no room for it. And I thought, well, you know, we'll see what happens.
What did we lose in the garage, Rick? Was that?
It was apple crisp. There was apple crisp. I was just thinking about the same thing. We put it out in the garage for Thanksgiving. This was a few years ago. And I opened the garage door because I was going to get the apple crisp out for dessert. And I turned on the light and I see this mouse in the apple crisp doing the breaststroke. And it's like in slow motion because the whole thing is so viscous, you know? I thought, what am I going to do? I was just in shock. And it finally got out of the other side and took off, but it was so funny. And I said, well, I guess we're not going to be eating that apple crisp.
No, it was so
You should have just left it for the mouse.
Yeah, Rick, Rick, you didn't have to tell anybody. You were the only one who saw it.
I wouldn't have eaten it anyway.
Everyone would have known.
I think they would have seen the mouse hairs. How did this thing get swirled?
I'm assuming it had a cover on it.
What was that?
Yeah, there was a cover on it. That was the funny part. He had gotten underneath the cover and was doing this, and it was like, oh my god.
He was lucky he didn't drown.
You should have put it outside for him to finish off.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have more of them.
Yeah,
ratatouille. Yeah.
One time when I lived in St. Louis, I came home and my cat was just sitting on my bed with a squirrel just hanging out. People say get a cat for mice. Mine didn't care. He would ignore mice, squirrels. What, Steve? No, see, mine didn't care. Mine wouldn't. I had mice in another house. Cat, nope. Oh, what's that? Oh, I don't care.
I've had my cats bring in chipmunks. I've had birds, you know, that somehow get in the house, and I'm like, okay, try and rescue them and put them outdoors, you know. But the cat's like so proud. Look what I brought you. I brought you gifts. I little voles outside the door, you know, gifts by the door. It's like, okay. I think they're too old now that they don't go chasing as much, so I don't see them at all anymore, which is good. Leave the other animals alone.
Are we going to talk about CES at all?
I think Steve said that nobody attended. Didn't you say, Steve?
Yeah, nobody attended. It was completely virtual.
It was all virtual.
But there are reports that have been done about what was released and what people found cool. And
yeah, did anyone read any of them?
Tubes.
Do you know about them?
Well, I know a couple of things. One is the rolling phones that they're showing. They're kind of strange. They sort of slide out. You know, they're a phone size, but when they slide out, they have a bigger screen and it's more like an iPad.
They had one of those in Andromeda. That was their big thing. It was a stick that you would slide out, and then that was your screen, and then it slid back in.
Yeah.
So the sci-fi shows are catching up.
I think there was one company that's making a pink refrigerator.
Pink.
Why?
Very retro, huh?
I guess.
Well, if they can make pink, then they should be able to make any other color you want, right?
Yeah.
I'll take a purple one.
When you think about it, no matter what color a refrigerator is, it's cool.
Mac Rumors has a.
That's true. That's true, Charlie. You know, I always wondered why people don't paint their cars with more decals and stripes and all sorts of stuff than people just having just their plain car. It seems like, you know, you could do all sorts of things with it if you wanted to, you know, but yet you don't see people with that unless they're advertising something.
And then there probably some kind of an adhering decal that you can remove, because obviously, you know, you got a problem when you go to resell the car.
Well, I was told by a dealership that they have like really good decal remover stuff that they use to take it off cars when people trade them in. Because when I traded my car in, I had all my decals on the window, on the glass, so I could take them off, right? Because I didn't want to put them on the car. But he said, oh yeah, we've got stuff that'll just take all that stuff right off. So I'm assuming whether or not you can buy it over the counter.
You can get a wrap, what they call a wrap. It's like a plastic thing they put over it. And they can put any design. Like if you're a company, they wrap the whole.
Yeah, Steve's van used to have a wrap on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
then
what
when you're done, all you have to do, you want to go back to your original car, just take it and basically pull it right off.
Well, that's what I mean is I'm surprised more people don't do things like that to their car unless it's so expensive to get it, you know, covered.
It's not cheap to do it.
Yeah.
That's.
You have to spend several $100s to do it.
I think it's more than
I was watching
might be $1,000 or more.
I was watching a car commercial and I love the color of this car. It was like a gold, orangey gold color, and it was a particular type of car that, you know, brand or whatever that I didn't want. But I thought, gee, you know, you could probably go out and take it to any paint shop and get them to buy the paint and just have your car, you know, covered with whatever color you want. When you buy your car, it isn't offered in the colors you want. You know what I mean? Because there's only the same old colors all the time.
And then when you go to trade the car in, they take a close look at it and say, why was this repainted?
Yeah.
Or this is a crazy color. No one will ever want to buy it again.
Well, when I bought my first RAV4, it was orange, and I loved it. That was the first thing I got attracted to, was that orange color. And I hardly saw any other ones, right? And then when I got my new one, the blue one, I see them all over the place, but they aren't necessarily the RAV4. They're Hyundai and everything else all have the same color. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, okay, well, now if I don't want a blue car, what am I left with to pick? It's the same reds, the gray, the black, the silver.
I just looked it up. They go for around $2,000 to up to $2,000 to wrap your car.
No, but you know, that's not bad. But I mean, if you've got the money and you just say, I want something different, just wrap my car, right?
Just custom order your car in the color you want it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying is they don't offer the color you want.
Ken, you could do yours with a Buffalo Bill wrap.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's right, you could.
You could take
and everybody would see that and go, there's Ken.
There's Ken.
So there is the good point that says, wow, look, I've got a different car. And then there's the point you have a different car and it stands out. I had a lady stop me in the parking lot getting groceries and said, I keep seeing your car all around because they had all these stickers. And she said, my husband just bought one just like it. And she said, we were talking about what you named your car, what kind of stickers you had on it, and the whole bit. So it's interesting to say, hey, people recognize you by what you have on your car. So again, it could be good or bad, depending on if you're on the interstate or the thruway and you speed, then you're right there to be seen, right? Instead of just blend with the crowd, right?
Well, I bought a car and they striped it because they thought it would sell better for the younger people. And I wasn't quite the younger people, but it was what I wanted. And it's the only car, you know, I had it for 10 years and everybody knew who it was because it's the only one around that had the stripes on the side.
Well, see, that's what I mean. You get notoriety for having something different. So
when I sold it, when I sold it, you know, people said, well, I saw your car around the city.
Say, wasn't me.
Wasn't me anymore. But that's the way I always find it. It was a brown, you know, brownish car, but it had these nice stripes, you know, detailed from the dealer. And
well, it depends on what the car companies make that year. Some years you have really nice colors and the next year there's nothing. So
GM, you know, back to CES, GM showed off a prototype of an air taxi, they call it. It's basically a giant quadcopter, but it's got two fans on the bottom and two fans on the top, and you sit between them.
Yeah, it's probably unwieldy and scary to drive.
CNET had an article on CES things you can actually buy. Because most of the stuff at CES is concept things that might be available by next Christmas.
Unless the company goes out of business in the meantime.
Yeah. There have been several docs that have come out. There was one interesting thing. Razer, the gaming company, came out with an N95 mask that had, let's see if I can get that article back again. It had,
I saw it with the fans.
Yeah, it had active fans. It had an active filtration system. It had a voice modulator, so it would correct your voice so you wouldn't sound muffled. It had a sterilizer for incoming and outgoing air. And it was only only $50. That surprised me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how much technology you can put into things. I also saw there was some sort of a gaming table, which was basically, a big TV screen, but they made it into a touch screen so that you could play your games with it.
Yeah, Microsoft was showing stuff like that like 10 years ago, and it never really caught on, except in the movies. They have one on Hawaii Five-0. One of the big things they showed, it was sort of targeted at like bars and restaurants, where the menu would show up on the screen, so you could order stuff right from the screen. You could play games while you're waiting for your food, and then you could split the bill just by dragging your stuff to you, and then it was easier to split the bill that way. Apparently, they cost too much for restaurants on razor-thin margins to use.
Well, yeah, not only that, but I imagine the glass gets scraped quite a bit.
Well, Applebee's has sort of got that mini version of it.
Yeah, more restaurants are doing that. They have a tablet where you can do pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Has anybody scanned and shopped at Wegmans, where you scan the item and drop it in your bag?
I tried doing that last year before it was available yet, but now it's available in our Wegmans, and I think I might.
A lot of people are using it, I've noticed, but
because it's kind of interesting. I've always thought it was weird. You fill up your shopping cart, and then you empty your shopping cart, and then they put it in the bags, and you fill up your shopping cart again. So sometimes I'll just put everything in the bag, and then here, scan this. I got four bottles of soda. They're already in the bag. You don't. There actually was a commercial a few years ago. It was kind of funny. There was a guy in a long trench coat was walking through a supermarket, putting stuff in his pockets, and then he walked out of the supermarket, and the buzzer went off, and he looks all panicked and scared, and the security guard walks up to him and says, "Here, sir, you forgot your receipt." The idea was that every device had an RFID tag on it, and so when you walked through the scanner, it just totaled everything up and automatically charged your account. The problem is it would be really expensive to put an RFID tag on every package. You know, you can print a barcode on the label, that's no problem, but an actual active RFID.
Like a stick of gum or a pack of gum would need a barcode.
Yeah.
My wife went
or
to
RFI.
And
Sorry.
what she did was, you know, she always uses that, you know, scan and put it in the cart and she goes. But now they have a thing where you can do your list and it does it by aisle.
Yeah, I like that.
And so now when you go through your list, it has an order by aisle, so you don't have to go searching for where everything is. You just go by the list and everything is right in order. And
every time I go shopping with Shirley, it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
It's because I know where things are, but you don't. And
my mom
also,
I look online and I look up, you know, like Eastway Wegmans, and it says 14A, and I call my mom like, it's in 14A, and then she'll go to 14A and she's like, it's not in 14A. Okay.
well, it depends on, you know, Wegmans and some stores like to put things in different places because they lump things together. And, you know, I remember I was looking for zucchini one time, and they didn't have the zucchini with the vegetables. They had it with the tomatoes and the basil because that's an Italian grouping. And I wandered around trying to figure out where the zucchini would be if it wasn't with the other vegetables, right? And I had to ask somebody. He goes, "Oh, yeah, they put it up here." He goes, "I don't know why they divide it like that." He said they should have half of it in the vegetables and half for their display. You know, and then there's a lot of times where things are refrigerated that you don't think are refrigerated, and you can't find them because now they're not with where they're supposed to be. Now they're over in another place. So
yeah,
you
do you ever
always
notice that Wegmans are always changing where everything is?
Yes.
Yeah, you go in
crazy.
and
You just learn, okay, where everything is. Okay, I know where the coffee is. I know where the cereal is. And you go in and it's not there anymore.
Yep.
And it messes you all up because now that changes everything. And they always have people, you know, standing in the aisle to help you out when they do that. And I said, why do they keep changing? Well, to make the shopping better for you. Well, it's not making it better.
Jackie,
I can't find it.
Jackie does that at our office, and invariably somebody will buy something that's been sitting for a year because it's now on a different shelf and they noticed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't. They didn't notice it when it was on another shelf 2 feet away, but they noticed it on this shelf. And it makes your store look fresh all the time because you have different products everywhere.
I have a complaint that I've voiced to store personnel at least 2 or 3 times in different years because it doesn't really go away. They have the same product by different brand, and some are the unit pricing was supposed to make it simpler so you can compare them. But this product is priced per pound, and this product is priced per fluid ounces. And you can't compare them, you know, so which is cheaper? You know, I look at the unit pricing, and if you're trying to compare solid weight to liquid weight, is totally different.
Well, that goes along with baking. Things are supposed to be in certain measuring cups versus dry, wet versus dry.
Right, but they're the same product, and they should be, you know, using the same kind of unit pricing.
Maybe that depends on the manufacturer who manufactures it versus another manufacturer.
Well, it's a store problem.
It's probably who in the store input
the store
it.
employee acknowledge that, yes, that's a problem and it should be fixed. And then 6 months or a year later, I'll see the same thing still there.
Well, I don't know. I found that Wegmans a lot of times doesn't have things that I'm looking for that they used to have. because now they don't have as much variety in certain sections, that I'm like, I know you used to have this and now you don't have anything. And I'll search the store. Oh no, we don't carry it anymore.
Yeah,
We don't carry it anymore. Nope. And I'm like,
doing a lot
where
of
do you go to find stuff?
They're doing a lot
What
of
now?
their own Wegmans brands now. Like
Who it?
a tomato sauce to be like that they don't sell anymore. Now it's all Wegmans. A lot of Wegmans stuff.
Right.
And they're, you know, because it's cheaper. And actually, their Wegmans brand stuff isn't really too bad, but they get rid of a lot of stuff that people are used to using, and so that's why, you know, we have to go to Tops.
A lot of times, it's the stuff is made by the same company as the name brand. They just get it cheaper.
Right.
Well, I guess that's a good thing that you have the ability to go to Tops or to Aldi's or wherever you shop, Trader Joe's maybe, you know, to find the certain brands that you want. And it's like, I didn't appreciate Tops so much when it was here, but now then Fairport that it closed, you know, been a year or two now, it's like the closest one is Henrietta. So I'm like, well, do I want to drive out to Henrietta to get 3 things, you know? So I compromise and say, do I really need it, kind of thing. But
the nice thing about Tops is you don't have to fight the crowds.
that's
right.
true. They never seem to be as busy as Wegmans, but yet they have a lot more variety on stuff than some places do.
But we,
you know, because our Tops
Wegmans,
used to have a.
But we prefer Wegmans, but Tops has the best bakery. Across the board, the best baked goods comes from Tops.
Well, see, that's it. You like certain things that somebody makes that are cheaper. Like I like Aldi's, but not for everything. They're good for basic things sometimes. And then there's other stuff they just don't carry because they're a German store. And you have to remember that they don't carry certain things because the Germans don't have certain things, you know, and then
on Winton. On Winton?
Well, we're in Fairport, so there's one in Fairport.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, you know, you talk about Tops. I miss it because I only go to Wegmans once a year to buy their stuffing bread at Thanksgiving. But I go to Tops, and you know, I live right near where you are, and I go to Walworth Tops.
Okay.
Or Penfield, and it's quicker to go to Walworth, and it's about the same distance. But I love the country drive, so I can make it out there just as fast as I can go to Penfield.
That's true. And I could get to Henrietta in 20 minutes. Yeah. So it's pretty quick there too. It's just the drive.
I do it in 19.
It's like all the different TV services now. You know, you have Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus and all these other things. They say, you know, cut the cord, but in order to cut the cord, you got to get all these different TV services. So you end up going back to Spectrum because it turns out, you know, not everybody has the same thing. You know, there's some services, you know, they don't have the local channels where, you know, like YouTube TV may have certain local channels and they have this channel, but they don't have the Sabres on theirs and all these different services. So you have to shop all these different places to try to find out, you know, what you want.
I'm really, really angry right now about that because I had YouTube TV and all I want is Tennis Channel. So, and I have to pay a service a lot of money just so that I can get the Tennis Channel because you can't just subscribe to the Tennis Channel like you can other channels, you know, like HBO or Showtime you can buy by yourself. So YouTube used to be $50, then it went up to $65, and you have unlimited DVR so you can record everything and they keep it for 9 months. So I have all these recordings and I have all these tennis matches and I have all this stuff from like from when COVID started. They did these shows where they would just like interview people from home and stuff, but I didn't want to watch it at the time. Like I was trying to not think about that. So I had all this old stuff I was going to start watching in December that I had recorded, and all of a sudden I turn it on. You have lost a channel, tennis channel, and because of the way that stupid this works today, when you don't have the channel, you don't have access to the recordings anymore. So I've been paying them all these months to have the tennis channel and keep my recordings, and now they're all gone. So now I can't watch any of them. So basically I just paid them $65 a month all this time for nothing because it took all my recordings away. So that's not fair. Like, I'm like,
didn't they just go up like $20 a month recently?
It went up to 65 like in the summer, from 50 to 65 in the summer.
I remember a couple of years ago when they were first starting, it was like $35 a month, and it's the cheapest service, you know. And I said, you know, they're going to raise this pretty quickly, you know, just like all the TV services, you know, they raise their price pretty quickly.
Yeah, like Sling used to be 15, and then it went up to 30 last.
It looks like you can subscribe directly to the tennis channel itself.
You can subscribe to Tennis Channel Plus, which is like $120 a year, which gives you like bonus courts, but it doesn't give you the actual tennis channel, so you don't get any of the like shows and the interviews, and you don't get the main courts. You can't watch it live. So
it's got a button that says live. I'm on their website. That's weird.
Well, it's called Tennis Channel Live. Because you can only watch it live. Like if you have, let's say you have Wimbledon. Well, let's go US Open. Let's take a tournament that actually happened. So no, that's on ESPN. Okay. Anyway, so you're watching a tournament. Say you're watching like the French Open. So you've got the main court they have on the Tennis Channel on TV. And then you can watch all the other courts on the Tennis Channel Plus on the computer live. You can watch them all live. But then you have to watch it live. Because after it's over, you can't just like rewind and watch it because it's gone. Some of the things will come up on the website later. Some will not. Some come up a few hours later. Some come up a few days later.
It has an on-demand thing.
Yeah, the on-demand, it's only certain tournaments, and sometimes it's days and sometimes it's hours later. French Open, they would put up like later that night, but then there's a smaller tournament, like, oh, I missed this match today, and it doesn't come on for 3 days. I'm like, well, now I want to watch tomorrow's, and I haven't seen today's yet, and I can't see it for 3 days. And if there's like a main court that they're showing on the main channel, you don't get to see that. Because some things like, oh no, that they have different contracts. That's on this channel and that's on this channel. So something, and then you don't get to see like the other shows, some of the interviews and talks and things. And because I did that for a while, for like a month, I just watched the Tennis Channel Plus, but I was missing a lot, and you're missing the good commentators. And so if you want to get all the information in the background and stuff, you're losing all that, and you can't pause and rewind, and because it's all live and it's a guess if they're going to let you watch it later. I mean, it's a nice supplement, but you still need the main channel. And now I've lost, and like all those shows, those 3-hour-a-day shows that they had all summer, they're gone. I had them. That's why I was keeping it, so that I could go back and watch those shows, because I was curious to see the players like in their homes and everything, and what they were talking about. But I just emotionally didn't want to watch it in the moment when the whole COVID thing was first happening, so now and then when tennis came back in like August, I watched the tennis. I'm like, okay, in December I'll catch up on all these old shows. And now and they gave you no warning. It's not like they said, oh, hey, so here's an email. Tennis Channel's going away in a month. They sent an email the day it went away that you're losing it. So you had no time to go back and watch your recordings. You're just gone.
Yeah, it's probably got to do with licensing and what networks have already paid for services. We're in this really difficult transition period where things are annoying. There is a website called suppose.tv, where you can put in the networks you want to watch, and it finds what streaming services they're on. And you just keep going back to it when things change. So it looks like right now the least expensive service that has Tennis Channel is Sling Blue for $40 a month.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you never know how long they're going to keep that.
Channel. The least expensive channel has what?
The Tennis Channel.
Oh, okay.
The problem with Sling is that the DVR, you have to like pay to upgrade to 50 hours is their maximum. So if you're watching tennis and you're recording, like if I'm recording even just a week long tournament, let alone a major, I mean, I'm recording 24 hours a day for like a week. I mean, you can only record 2 days, so I can't go back and watch anything. So their DVR makes it, again, I'd only have to watch it live pretty much. Now they do have like the Air TV 2 and Air TV Everywhere. So the Air TV 2, and I haven't used it, like it'll record two, it says it's advertised as recording 2 local channels. You can, over the air, it gives you an antenna and that, and then you can record 2 channels, but you have to buy an external hard drive to use with it, which I'd actually prefer because that way no one could take it away from me. Of course, if Sling went out of business, then I probably wouldn't be able to access it anymore. And then the Air TV Anywhere will let you have 4 like tuners, but if it would let you use that, put an external hard drive, and then I could record the tennis channel, then I could record as much tennis as I wanted, and then it would work. But that's the thing about tennis. I need a big enough DVR to have it, because I'm not always watching it. You know, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back next week and watch last week's final, which I didn't get to watch because I started the new tournament. And
you just got to sit there and you've just got to be glued to your TV every second. That's all there is, Kim. 2 screens going at once.
Yeah, you need. Yeah, that's probably you need more devices so you can have several matches playing at the same time.
Oh, I do that. Like during I got one in the TV and then the computer. That's what's great about the computer versus the tablet, because I've got like 4 windows with like different courts, so I can watch like as many courts as I want. I can have 1 big one and then 1 on the TV. I can have 2 on the computer. I can have 3 on the computer, 4 on the computer, and I can watch them all at once.
Yep, just don't sleep. That's all. Just stay in your chair all the time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and because I was, you know, in the fall when they were all in Europe, you know, gotta get up at 5 in the morning to watch tennis live, and so I can watch it on the computer and watch like several courts. So yeah, I'm getting up at 5, but that's like too early. So then it's like, okay, I can't make 5 o'clock.
There is a product called the HD Home Run, and it's let me post it in the chat here, from Silicon Dust, and it's a TV tuner, and they have models with more simultaneous recording, but it records to your own hard drive, so you can record as much as you want.
Yeah.
They have a model with 300 hours of storage and up to 6 tuners, so you can record 6 channels at the same time. And you just hang another hard drive on it to get more storage.
Is that like, I have a Magnavox like recorder that works with cable because you can plug the cable into it. But if you have like a streaming service, then you have to have like Sling. You'd have to have Sling so it would record Sling. Like if I have an external DVD recorder, I can't record it from a streaming service because I'd have to put the TV into the recorder back into the TV, right? So is that something you just mentioned for over-the-air channels, or does
both?
It work?
They have an over-the-air version and a cable TV version. I'm looking to see about their streaming versions.
That's the thing about cable. You get cable, you can then put it through your own recorder and you can record and you've got it forever and you've got all the channels and it's just easier and you don't have to deal with all the streaming stuff. And I like I like putting on my TV and having TV on, you know, not having to open this app and then find the show and play it. It gets draining sometimes. I just watch me TV because I can just put on the TV and watch it. And I have Amazon and Hulu and all these other channels, but you got to sit there and play them. And
all depends on what you feel like you want to watch that day, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, what was the thing? You could have 1,000 channels and say, oh, there's nothing to watch.
Yeah.
Because you're not in the mood for anything that they're showing you.
Yeah,
and the stuff you would want to watch isn't on.
I mean, I just got Amazon in like September, so I'm new to this, but in October for Prime Day and then in December, they had like all these 99-cent specials for a month for channels, so it was a great way to try out all the channels and see which ones I'd actually watch. I don't know if they do that other times of the year, if it was only for the holiday season. But that was great because I got to try out a bunch of different channels.
We just got Discovery Plus because some of the shows that I like are now only going to be on Discovery Plus. Plus, you can go and watch all the back shows of the shows that you like too. So instead of like cable where you can only see what's new and maybe a few older ones, you can go back all the seasons for whatever show it is you want and watch all of them, which is good if they've got 5 years worth of episodes or something like that. But it wasn't that much, so I was like, all right, fine, I'll try it out.
How much?
See if I really like it.
How much?
I've got some new shows on there. A micro show, 6 Degrees of Separation, I think it's called, or 6 Degrees or something like that, or
it's very similar to James Burke's Connections.
Yeah. So it all depends on what you're into.
The like CBS All Access and Peacock and like those things now that you pay for, but they'll still only go back a certain amount of time. Like if I'm behind, like my YouTube will record, I've got recordings from 9 months ago if I want to watch a talk show, or, you know, I like the late night talk shows and, you know, but they'll only go back like maybe 3 months on the actual like NBC or CBS app, but on my YouTube I have 9 months recorded. It's like, so you're going to pay extra and then I still can't go back as far. So I'm trying to,
it's just hard, you know. It's like say you want to watch The Amazing Race, which I didn't get into until more than halfway through the whole series. There's 23 seasons of it, so they only show like the last year or two, and you're like, well, what if you want to go back to the beginning and watch it from the beginning? Where do you go?
Right.
I'm sure they might have something where you could go do that, but you know.
Yeah, like The Voice. I was watching like whatever that was like 2 seasons ago, and then that's whatever I lost my YouTube in the summer. Like I said, I didn't have it for like a month, and I lost the end of The Voice season that I was watching because like the 9 months expired when I got it back, and then I went on NBC and they only had like the current season. And I'm like, come on, you can at least go back a little, and especially if you're paying for it. Or soap operas, you know, like wouldn't it be great if you could just go back and watch 50 years, you know, and stuff? And
that'll take you like forever. There's not enough time in the day for that kind of thing.
Okay, I have a related type thing I want to say. In the Apple TV, I have found that your subscription is not stackable. So if you buy a device, we'll say you bought one last year and you got the Apple TV for free subscription, Apple Plus, I guess is what we're talking about, right? If you buy another device, let's say this year, you can't stack. You can't say, oh, I bought a new device, therefore I get a new year of Apple Plus. They don't do that for you anymore.
They did extend the free year until February.
Yeah, but remember
you only
that
get
means
one free year.
January 31st, just to be clear.
I was going to ask that question. I just bought a MacBook Air and last month or so, and I had the Apple Plus, and I haven't heard anything. I don't know about, does it extend for another year? I'm hearing no.
Yeah, it looks like no.
No.
If you got it originally,
you could do is you could have your better half register the device, and then they would treat her as a separate new customer.
Register it to a different Apple ID, and then that Apple ID gets a year.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about keyboards?
Sure.
We have a small wireless keyboard, and the W is very tricky. Are you able to fix a keyboard key anymore by popping it off or
are we talking Apple keyboard or a third-party keyboard?
No, it's the Apple wireless keyboard that came with the iMac that I have.
Yeah, that's this one right here.
Yeah, I would say don't mess with it if you don't have to.
If you're really good, you can pop the key off without breaking the mechanism underneath. But I haven't found many people that are that good.
And I don't know what I could try compressed air.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a safe bet.
Okay, I didn't know.
How bad is it? What happens when you press it down?
You must consciously push it. You often go back and proofread, and a lot of the W's are missing. As you've typed away, you need to go back and fix
you just have
all
to press
the words
harder
that
on
have
it, right?
Press harder on the key. That's the answer.
They do have a program.
It could be a user problem. Maybe you have a weak finger.
With your ring finger.
They do have a program for laptops, 2015 and later laptops with the butterfly keyboard that have problems. You can get a free keyboard for 4 years from your original date of purchase. But I didn't hear that they didn't have anything like that for the external keyboards.
Okay.
I have an idea about that. Possibly you could put something on the key, like take a little pad, an adhesive pad or something, and that would raise it up. And when you hit it, it would go down farther.
And I see that they're not for sale. Or I went on the Apple Store site, and they don't appear to be selling those little wireless keyboards anymore.
It's the Magic keyboard they're selling now, not the original wireless keyboard.
It has
But it still is a wireless keyboard, but it has a built-in rechargeable battery instead of separate batteries.
Sometimes third-party wireless keyboards work quite nicely.
They have a solar one, a solar charging keyboard on the Apple Store site now.
I think that's a Logitech one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's on the Apple Store site, so I figured it must be compatible.
Well, pretty much any keyboard is compatible with any keyboard, with any computer. One of the issues is that the third-party keyboards are often cheaper because they use an RF dongle that has to plug into a USB port. They're not completely Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth chips in the keyboards make them more expensive than the RF keyboards typical that PC users typically use because they're cheaper.
All right, thank you.
Hey, I have a question. Is anything, because Flash has gone away, is there anything that on my old computer from 2013 that's going to stop working because it's like Flash had Flash? Is there anything I should worry about, and should I deinstall it like they said?
Yeah, because it's full of bugs and holes that they're not fixing anymore. Flash was replaced with HTML5 about 3 or 4 years ago, and no one noticed because the websites just started using HTML5. Occasionally, you might find a very old game on a 20-year-old website that still needs Flash, but generally it won't be a problem. In fact, browsers haven't honored Flash requests for the last 2 years either. If a website says it needs Flash, the browser says, no, I don't have it. Mostly because of the security holes that Flash always had.
I just worried that there's something that's not going to work anymore.
There probably is,
what it is,
but it won't be anything. Probably won't be anything important.
That's an interesting point, though, because I will be reading articles online, and there'll be a space with a little gray statement in it that the ad could not play or something like that. Is that because I don't have HTML5 capability on my laptop somehow?
No, it's more likely the resource wasn't available when the website tried to load it. All web browsers have had HTML5 built in for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's what it says. It says that resources were not available. What does that mean in dumber person's terms?
The website tried to load the thing, and the other end didn't have it available, so they couldn't load it.
The other end being me or something else?
No, the advertiser.
Oh, I see. Okay. So is there an outside chance if I really gave a darn it, if I'd simply reloaded the page, it might work that time or something?
Or it would load a different ad instead.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, right. Well, it's not bothering me really, but except that it's just a point of curiosity.
A lot of the browsers are adding more and more things to try to speed up your browsing. I remember reading something about Google Chrome that if a resource takes more than, was it a 500 milliseconds, it would abort it and move on. Because one of the jokes with websites is that it always seemed that the ads loaded first and then the content loaded.
Yes. Yes.
You're supposed to read the ads.
And now there's those like things. Now it's like double layered when you scroll through things, and you've got like that section of like text that floats over and then
Yeah, the ad covers your text and follows you down the page as you're trying to scroll. The advertisers keep finding more and more ways to circumvent people's blocking and not wanting to read ads.
So if I don't uninstall Flash, can you get a virus if you're not using it, or only if like you use something that used it?
It's not a virus; it's malicious software. But yes, you will get one.
Okay, so uninstall it. Then my computer will crash.
And then all the bigger issue has become the fake Flash updates, because people were so used to needing to install a Flash update because it was so crappy and got updated so frequently. The bad guys put out fake Flash updates. So virtually every message you got saying you needed to update Flash was fake and would install malicious software. Every computer we see come into the shop typically has a dozen fake Flash downloads from some website that wanted to download it. Speaking
of that, because whenever that happens, I always go to the website directly to see if I need to do it. But I've got a couple emails from PayPal, and I've never used PayPal until just these last couple months. I use it for my YouTube TV, and I use it for Uber Eats. And I get an email saying your account has been compromised. We're temporarily suspending it. Now, is that a real thing, or is that someone trying to get my info?
It's probably fake. If you go to paypal.com and log in yourself, it will tell you if there's a problem. But those types of emails are very common, and they want you to click on the link, and it's going to look like PayPal, and you're going to enter your credentials to unlock your account, and now they have your PayPal account and will take all your money. Quite often you can see grammar errors or misspelling errors in the messages like that. The biggest clue is if you point to the link it wants you to click on, but don't click it, it will pop up and show you the address it's really going to. And it's almost never what it's supposed to be. So you can tell it's a fake message that way.
You can't do that on a tablet, can you?
Tap and hold.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it gave me that message once before, and then I used my PayPal. I ordered food and it worked, so I'm like, okay, guess it was fake.
Yeah.
And it gave me the message again, and I'm like, okay, because there's no reason it should be, because I'm not using it enough that there should be suspicious activity unless someone actually did hack into it. But
Well, yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's automated what are called brute force attacks that are trying to break into every PayPal account and every Amazon account, just constantly trying password guesses from all the password leaks. There's what is it, 100 billion leaked passwords that the bad guys try now. 10 billion, sorry. I was off by a factor. And so the bad guys just have automated scripts running that try all the leaked passwords with all of the leaked email addresses. And your email address is pretty public anyway. And they try to get into accounts. What's very annoying is when websites don't have a lockout. So normally if you put the wrong password in, say 5 times in a row, it locks you out for a little while. And we constantly hear about websites that don't have that. And bad guys are allowed to guess hundreds of thousands of times until they get in. And then suddenly your account's been compromised because of a brute force attack. Bad guys are getting more annoying.
Yeah.
Goes to Charlie.
All right. Well.
Yeah, why did it jump to Charlie? Why isn't it jumping to me when I'm talking? What's going on? I'm not aware of this. I didn't say anything. I didn't, fart or anything. So yeah, it's supposed to jump to the person who's talking. Right. And like I say, I didn't make any unusual noises here, and I wasn't saying anything. Oh, I'm just going to mute my mic, and maybe it'll help that. I don't know.
You just keep hearing tap, tap, thud, thud.
I got a question for you. I was just on, since I got the new computer and everything, and I was going through my mail, and I put something to junk or trash. And now I see there's 2 sections where on your computer and then on the iCloud. So, and I saw it went to iCloud, and then I clicked on something I want to move back to my inbox. And I don't know what I clicked, but I just deleted everything that was in that trash before you had to, highlight it and and delete it at a time, but this did a complete delete. Is that a new feature of the
There are settings in your mail preferences where you can set to auto delete, and you can tell it which trash folder to use if you want it to store on the server, which means you could see that mail on all your other devices too. If it's stored just on the Mac, then you won't see it on the other devices.
I got it on everything. I see everything everywhere. So most of it's stored, in the cloud.
Yeah, but that on my Mac section is only on the Mac, and it won't be shown on the other devices.
But I wanted to move something back, the inbox, because I wanted to use it. And I was up to the top, moving through the icons at the top, trying to figure out how to move it back, and all of a sudden everything deleted.
You may have accidentally hit the empty trash icon, or the timeout happened to occur. If you're set to delete after a week, that week may have happened.
Well, usually it stays there forever, until I go back.
There's a preference you have to set, so you should go check your preferences and to see what auto delete got set to.
Yeah, because all of a sudden I looked at something, everything, I emptied the whole box. Deleted everything. So I was wondering if, okay.
Yeah. Generally, it can be set to a day, a week, a month, or when you quit mail to empty trash or empty junk.
But this is the first time I've ever seen it delete everything at one fall swoop.
Yeah, that's usually you right click on the trash icon and there's an empty trash.
I just moving around, all of a sudden, boom, it all disappeared. And I said, okay, they're going to have to resend me that file again. Okay.
A lot of times when weird things like that happen, go up to the edit menu and see if you can undo what just happened.
Yeah. Okay.
I have another question. I hooked up my iPhone to like back up all my photos to my computer, and then after I did that, it's like my computer froze for a couple days. Like I couldn't play video, it would like freeze, and it like slowed it way down. I mean, that's after I'd already put in the photos, and then a few days later, it just started working normally again. Like, why? And is there something?
It was probably indexing the photos, finding all the faces and finding all the objects.
What operating system are you running? Are you running Catalina or something else?
Oh, well, that's what I was wondering about that too, since the iPhone is photos and the computer's iPhoto. Does that affect it in any way?
Not really. How much RAM does the computer have, and how much free disk space are the two bigger things?
Let's see. Well, it's 10.9.5.
Okay, so you're running an older operating system, and how much RAM do you have?
What I do? Oh, let's see. Processor, memory, 8 gigabytes, graphics, RAM, and software.
8 gigs of RAM isn't bad, but more is always better.
How much hard drive space do you have available?
A lot.
What's a lot?
Let's see. Where's that?
If you click on your hard drive and then say get info, it'll tell you how much you've used and how much is available.
Or if you're in the About box looking up the RAM, it's in the Storage tab.
Oh. I have 2.62 terabytes free out of 3.11.
Okay, so that's not the issue. What year is the computer?
2013.
Okay, so a little old in the tooth. It's what, 8 years old?
And running an ancient OS. It was probably indexing the photos and didn't have enough RAM to do that, and the other things you wanted it to do too.
How many photos do you have, Kim?
Oh, it was a lot. It was a lot.
How many thousands?
5,000.
I've got
5,000.
What do I have?
40,000.
Yeah, I've got like 200,000.
Well, that's probably not it either then. Do you have a lot of movies?
Oh yeah, that was I forgot. Now you remind me. It wouldn't load the movies. It said all these files couldn't be transferred.
Because it's a newer file format. There's a newer video and still format. What is it? HEIF, the high efficiency file format.
2.6.5 or something like that. 2.65.
And it's gives you better quality at a lower size, but it's not compatible with older devices. So you'd have to upgrade your computer to a newer OS, or change the settings in your phone to use the older format.
And then cameras have to be updated too if you want them to work with that new format, the new codec.
Well, the problem is your phone probably already is the new format, and the very old iPhoto can't read that format.
Yeah, that would make sense.
The iPhone 6S.
What OS is it running?
It's iOS. What number?
I'm looking.
Yeah, they added the high efficiency codecs in iOS 11. So what was that?
13.7.
3 years ago. Yeah, so your phone is using the new format, and your computer OS is too old to read it.
So it reads the photos, but not the videos.
Yep.
You must have your photo already set to the older format then too. So you have to change the video format it saves in. Or upgrade the OS on the computer.
Upgrade it to what? What would be safe?
Push it as far as you can.
Well,
but,
no, I wouldn't go any higher than High Sierra on a 2013.
Well, that's what I mean. That's probably as high as she'll be able to go.
No, it'll go to Big Sur. But I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't go to Big Sur on a 2013.
Stay at High Sierra. Things started getting slow with Mojave.
Yeah, and I'm not happy with Catalina. Catalina, I even get kernel crashes, or kernel panics, I should say.
And High Sierra is where they added the new formats in the Mac OS.
Yeah.
I want to put in an amusing tidbit here. When I upgraded my MacBook from Catalina to Big Sur, as part of the process, up popped an invitation. Now I've gone from Catalina to Big Sur, and up pops an invitation to tour the exciting new features of Catalina. So
you must not have run that at the time. You didn't do that one, so you have to go through that one. Then you'll get the invitation to the Big Sur.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, many of you know, I got a new 2020 iMac, and I just migrated and moved everything over, from my old iMac. And I just got so frustrated with, just things, not working right, that I just reformatted and started all over again. Not by migrating, but just by putting all the applications and programs in.
Yeah. One of the things.
Well, Apple's great for the new user that wants to do that and just start from scratch.
Right.
But we're at a point now where, all of us that have been around for years and years and years and want to keep our stuff, we're all pretty upset.
One of the things I've done.
Let me just, it took me a couple days to reinstall the applications and get everything, but now this thing is working really, really fast and like I expected it to, with a new machine. So it's something to be said about, just starting from scratch and just reloading everything rather than migrating it.
Well, you can migrate your documents, but don't migrate the applications, because that brings in all the old cruft. So if you migrate your documents, then you can just reinstall the few applications you need.
Right.
Because you probably don't need all those old applications anyway.
Right.
Well, is anybody got anything else to talk about? Otherwise, it's almost 9:30.
Shirley?
We want to.
Shirley? I'm interested in helping out with the board, but I don't know how to. I'm looking at the Apple CIDER website, but I don't know how to contact you.
You want to contact Charlie. Charlie's the nominating committee head.
That was that would have been in the email. Did I not? I thought I had that on the on the webpage too.
Charlie's back. You let him talk.
No, it's okay. No, I mean, Steve will say it just as well as I would, but it's true that Steve included in the email announcing tonight's meeting a link that'll automatically set you up to email me. And it may be on the CIDER homepage also. I'm not looking at it.
We'll add it for next time.
So just email me and let me know whether you're interested in just a regular director's position, which is just a member of the board, or if you are interested in one of the officer positions. And I think if you go from the, I'm winging it here, but I think if you go from the CIDER homepage to the board of directors info or whatever, or the bylaws, either way, it'll list the positions. But basically it's, president, and then there's a vice president for programs or for publicity, and there's a secretary, and there's a treasurer, which is usually Steve so far, as long as he's willing to go on doing it.
Yeah.
And I forget what else I'm missing there, but I think that covers it.
But I tried to send a request to the email address by pushing a link, and it goes to a page not found. So
This is the link from the email that Steve sent out for tonight's meeting?
Yeah, no, right off of the applecider.org website.
Okay.
Which
I'm
link?
going to look for the email first.
Yeah, yeah, do it.
Yeah, it's secretary too, right, Charlie? Or
Oh yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
So we'll be discussing whether, Shirley, next week at the board meeting. And in fact, that's another thing you can do, Doug, if you want, is from the CIDER homepage, there is a link to the board meeting, and that starts at 7:30 a week from tonight. And you can just pop into the Zoom meeting and get a feel for things and make your preferences known and so forth.
All right. I just want you to know that I'm interested.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah, we're
I'm
glad you are.
least excited to know that you're interested. That's great. That's great.
So next week, be there or be square.
All right.
yes, anyone can attend a board meeting, and that way you can, see how the procedures work and get kind of comfy with it, before you actually step up if you want.
Yeah, and it's not that formal a thing. It resembles tonight's meeting with not much program material in it.
That's right.
Okay,
and since we
I
don't
found the email, so
Good.
I'm all set.
Wonderful.
Good.
I have a question. I'm doing some maintenance and cleanup around here, and I found this. And it looks like it's a coaster. Does anybody recognize anything like this?
Wireless charging pad?
It's sort of
What's
like almost fiber on this side.
What's it say on the other side again?
The other side says this.
You should talk.
Yeah, it's
Augmented reality demo app.
Yeah, it's.
I can't read it while I'm holding it up.
It looks like it's
Well,
just a tchotchke someone gave away.
Blow it up for us. You can count to 10.
But I don't understand.
Well, in other words, Bob, what he's saying is if you are speaking out loud, it will make you you'll be the big guy in the window we're looking at, and then we'll be able to read what's on.
Okay. So I'm talking to the big one. I got the gallery view on mine, so.
Okay, so there's like law enforcement and
it's just it's a handout to buy somebody's app.
Yeah.
And there's links and icons on the other side for you to go buy their app.
Download the app. Yeah, it's advertising. It's an advertising coaster is what it is.
Yeah, I just wonder if anybody recognized the symbols, like what it might be. I don't know where I got it or when.
Well, plus is probably the medical, right? It's like the Red Cross or Blue Cross.
Fire.
Fire is the other one for the fire department, and then you got a shield for the policeman.
I don't know what this one in the middle is.
Fire.
Yeah, the middle one that's got the sound thing on it.
No,
maybe it's a disc that you're talking to.
Yeah.
Water.
It's a mic.
I think it might be a smart coaster that tells you when your drink needs to be refilled. Don't try a refrigerator to bring you another beer.
That sounds good, Charlie. Like that one.
Maybe it hooks up to Alexa, and then it'll listen to you, and when you need any of those services, it'll call for you.
Oh,
you just activated my tablet, Rick. You said Alexa, and she heard you.
Really. I just was shopping for smoke detectors, and they can get smart ones now that will hook up to your network and tell you what room the fire is in.
As long as it's not the one you're in.
Well, you'd be able to find that out if the computer says that you're on fire, then you should definitely see if you're on fire.
So if you're on fire, but you're not sure, and your computer's like frozen and crashing, how long do you take to look up on your computer to see that there's a fire in the room you're in?
That's my whole thing. I mean, if somebody had a really large house with a smoke detector in every room, it might conceivably be useful. But man, the first thing is to,
get the hell out.
get a
Yeah, if there's a fire, like, oh gee, is it in the kitchen or the dining room? Who cares?
Exactly. Although the other thing too is that if you heard a spurious alarm from one of them and that was not constant, and was driving you nuts, it might be able to tell you which room it was in that was doing that. So I don't know.
Oh, I had one that was going off and couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, maybe it fell. Yeah, it had like fallen behind my table when I'm, and it was, yeah, finally found it, but it was going for months. Like, where is it? Where is it?
Right. Yeah. When I do road trips, I do it kind of low budget, and I stay in a lot of motels run by, nice Indian people who run about half the motels in the country now. That they told me that actually.
They do. Everywhere I go when we went, there they are.
I stayed in a motel in Ohio once, and the Indian guy at the desk said that half the motels in America are run by Indians, and they're all from Gujarat, and they're all named Patel, and he was right. But anyway, so and you're in one of these things when like the lamp cord has a splice in it with maybe some Scotch tape around the wire ends. But so I was checking out at one of these once in New Jersey, and I'm out of my car loading all my crap into it, and I hear this thud, and I go back into the room for something else. There's the smoke detector on the floor. It had fallen off the ceiling.
Great.
I'm going to log out here soon, but you reminded me of a story before I go. A couple years ago when I was having leg surgery, it was about 2 a.m. I had the TV on. I was in the hospital. And all of a sudden I felt warm around my leg. And I remember from when I was a kid and I wet the bed, what it felt like. I thought, I'm wetting the bed. No, I'm bleeding out. So I pressed the button, and immediately there were 10, 20 people in there, and so on. And the guy who basically saved my life, because he's the one that put the towel on my leg to stop the bleeding, and everything, a few minutes later, I'm all good. And I heard his name. His name was Kumar. And the funny thing, you reminded me with the story about the Indian guy. I said, your name is Kumar? He said, yeah, Mark Kumar. I said, look what's on the TV. And the TV was Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So I'm laying there watching Harold and Kumar, and then Mark
Kumar shows up.
Saves my life.
Service.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm out. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Shirley,
yep.
We'll be around on Monday. Anybody else want to talk politics? Carol, I think I invited you one time.
Yes,
Carol,
yes.
you would be in.
I've been getting the invites, and I might just show up for one of these now.
Yeah, Monday at 4.
Okay.
Yes. Well, say hi to Carol.
Yeah. Anybody else might want to come, send me an email.
Have a good night, Bob.
All righty.
Okay.
Good night, Bob.
Are you going to do your green apples, or is there anything?
Yeah.
For the green?
I might send invites to people who've come before, and they can show up on the Zoom or not,
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I never remember until like it's starting.
So you have these devices that you can set appointment reminders with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put it on your calendar and you say, notify me.
1 hour ahead of time.
I need a beeper, like a real beeper,
It will.
to go off and say, hey.
It will do that.
But you have to have the device there so you can hear it beep.
Well, you put it on your phone and your tablet and your computer. So you put it on your calendar, and all your devices will beep at you.
No, but I forget to email him in advance so that he can put me on the list, and then I go to join it.
I'll send you an invite.
And I forget.
I'll send you an invite anyway.
It's enough for my brain to remember to be somewhere at a certain time to make me remember to do something before it. That's what I use my Alexa for, to set alarms to remind me of things, or I'd forget half the things I do.
All right. Well, Bob, then we'll talk to you maybe Saturday, but Monday.
Yep.
Hopefully Monday and then Wednesday.
Okay. Be well.
Yeah, it's a good time to talk politics.
Sure.
Yep, it is.
See you, Bob.
That link too, if you
log
want.
off and go to my streaming videos here.
Yep. Bye.
Here.
Bye.
Bye.
So
Okay.
actually, like if you need, I don't know, if you need a board person, like if you just need a body.
A body.
Well, I mean, if
A
you
director.
need because you know, I couldn't ever join the board before because I had my Asian brush painting on Wednesdays, but I
Now
don't
you're
have
free.
it anymore since Alice is dead. No more Asian brush painting. So my Wednesdays will be free forever now.
Enjoy.
So
Steve, are you going to Green Apples or are you working?
If I'm, well, I'll probably be working, but if I'm not, I'll try to come in. I might even try to show up at work, but I probably won't be able to do too much. Depends on how much work there is. There's always too much work.
When you do sound bites, are you guys getting together live in the studio, or are you doing it through Zoom?
Yeah, we're at the studio. We got big plexiglass probably not plexi, but Lexan dividers were stuck between, so it adds a little echo to us all.
Mm-hmm.
You should watch the video; you could see it.
Yeah, I usually just listen.
Actually, I've got the cameras inside the dividers, so you usually don't see the dividers.
Mm-hmm.
What is Steve? What does that stream on now? YouTube?
YouTube and Jazz's own website, and TuneIn. We're on TuneIn. So jazz901.org is the main website, and they have an audio feed, and then we put the video feed into YouTube.
So do you still call to ask questions, or do you ask them online?
Call or text in. We got a new text phone number, so a lot of people are starting to use that now too, which is it's a little annoying for us because we can't ask questions back where we need more information on what their question was. So sometimes they'll text back again.
There's no.
So what happened to Nick's website, asknick.com? I noticed it's like gone.
I didn't think it was gone. I know he's revamping it.
Maybe it was just down.
No, it's still there.
He said it was something like, after so many years, I'm, not going to do this anymore.
Oh no, that was the newspaper. The newspaper decided they were going to stop paying him for his column. He was more than welcome to keep writing it, but they were going to stop paying him.
Oh, okay.
So he stopped writing it for the newspaper. So now he's got a subscription, I think $25-30 a year, where you can get all the newsletters. The new ones he still publishes every week, and you get access to all the old ones. He's working on code to be able to index and search the old ones.
Okay. So, any Republicans amongst us here?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I hope.
We were watching the impeachment proceedings today, and we were appalled at the number of Republicans that are still supporting not impeaching him.
Well, they're still looking for their political future here. That somehow he will raise from the dead like the phoenix and be reborn.
Well, on top of that, the point is that the base that has supported him will support whatever next lunatic they nominate, so, and they're the real force to be reckoned with, I think.
Yeah.
Well, once he's out of office and is gone for a while, and he has no real platform where he can talk because Twitter's not doing it anymore, or any of the other ones, then, a lot of them, I think, will lose interest because now they don't have a constant soundboard, right? And then there'll still be the hardcore people will still be out there, but which are probably the ones you need to be worried about, who are they just want to destroy things, and Trump just made them feel good about doing it, So maybe
what they're scared of, they're scared that Trump may run again in 2024.
Well, that's what the whole impeachment thing is, to make sure he doesn't run. So it doesn't matter that it might take a while before it goes through, but the whole point is they don't want him to come back. And now, once he gets out of office, he's got so much problems with the law. And then Deutsche Bank is cut ties with him, so he has no more money, and his big rich donor just died. That he's losing ground. And he's going to face all these problems. And I think he thinks he's just going to walk out and nothing's happening to him.
Well, you know what? He's come back from a lot of things like bankruptcies before.
Oh, yes, he has.
But the American people bailed him out on that one.
But I don't think he has the support of all those people anymore. I mean, there's still going to be people, who are going to help him, but he's lost a lot of credibility with everything that's happened in the 4 years as president and the whole bit, that I don't think they're going to bail him out like they did before.
He lost his credibility the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If he would have just shut up.
Yeah.
And said, okay,
it was
I lost. See you again in 4 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And gone out and, with a little...
what was left of his dignity.
Yeah, he would have had a chance to come back in 2024.
Well, I think, to put my 2 cents in here, that the problem is that the things that we consider shameful or ignominious or something like that are the things that his base considers admirable. And so, we may say that he's lost his credibility, but he may have gained even more with that millions and millions of people who will go for anybody as long as he's crazy and lies a lot.
And hates the same people they do.
He hates the same people. That sadly is his base.
Exactly. So I think that's a threat.
Someone was looking for to say, it's those other people that are like infringing on my rights.
Rile them up and then go hide in your bunker.
There's an interesting wrinkle in it, in that I'm not sure that the impeachment thing is anything other than a waste of time, because even if they talk about having the Senate trial after Biden's first 100 days so they don't get in the way of business, to me, impeachment, the trial involves removing him from office. He'll already be gone from office. But an article I read pointed out that there's a provision, apparently like the 3rd section of the 14th Amendment, by which Congress, by a simple majority of both houses, can essentially declare that a person was, engaged in insurrection against the United States or something like that. This was right after the Civil War, and the purpose was to keep Confederate military people and politicians out of office. And so by a simple majority, they can declare that they're unfit to hold federal office. And that can be changed later. That can be rescinded later. But that requires a 2/3 majority of each house of Congress. And that would be a simple way of saying, Donnie, you're out of it. You ain't running again,
That's why they want to impeach him.
Well, yeah, and also he loses the pension. He loses Secret Service protection. He loses a lot of things.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Well, just remember, he's 77. He's not a young boy. And once he gets out and he gets so that he can go golfing all he wants, not have to worry about things, he might lose interest.
I don't think he needs
I don't know. I think he's going to be golfing from a jail cell if we're lucky.
Yeah. Maybe he'll really get dementia, and then he'll really be out of it, because then they'll have a diagnosis of dementia, and then they'll know that anything he says is jackass crazy, and he's gone.
I don't
think will they be able to tell?
I know.
Yeah. Everything he says, it's like, that's insane. I mean, with the things he's saying, it's just like, that is crazy.
I guess what we're saying is that we consider ourselves normal people who have a moral compass and love the Constitution and government. Well, you know what I mean, the rules of order. And the people who don't are the ones who like to be brainwashed and believe all this crap, that when you look at it, you go, how can you believe this garbage? You know, this is ridiculous stuff, the QAnon things and all the other crap. And you're like, what are you talking about? Why do you believe this? Well, so-and-so keeps telling me. Well, just because they tell you that doesn't make it true, but they seem to want to believe it because they're afraid. Old white people, you know, white people like, oh my God, somebody's going to come and take our stuff. You know, they're going to take our guns. They're going to do something and we don't like it. So we're just going to, you know, but again, because Trump's been in office for 4 years, he's stirred them up from the get-go. So you got 4 years of letting these people realize they can get away with this stuff to say, you're not going to get away with it anymore.
I just realized the recording is still going to YouTube. We should have stopped that.
But, you know, the whole thing is
that... Do your closing so I can stop the recording. Then I'll leave the...
I did say that we were closed a while ago, but that's okay. This meeting's over. Is that good enough?
All right.
You know, it's funny because I never noticed. I probably